The story begins with our main character waking up in a room. Looking out to the window, he wonders why he is out here in the middle of nowhere. He then gets a glimpse of his reflection in the mirror. Looking at it carefully, he was shocked to see that he has a new face, and he was bothered by it because it has some weird shit on it. With this outcome, questions filled his mind, and to his surprise, all of it was answered by a system interface popping up before him. But now he was shocked since he realized he had reincarnated as a stinking goblin. A few moments ago, before all of this happened, the Fantasy Frontier, a cutting-edge AA game, is currently very popular worldwide. With breathtaking graphics and a carefully woven plot, it earned the highest RPG rating. With its popularity, the main character played this game all day, every day, and just like he usually does. He was wandering around while grinding, killing goblins. Then he fell asleep, but now he wakes up as a goblin of all things. He is said to be a goblin, but he looks no different from a normal human. The system then notified him that it would start the memory sync between him and the character, and before he could ready himself, memories penetrated him and started forcefully flowing inside him. With this, he remembers his life was like on hard mode and it feels like the whole world is against him. But all his problems soon went away. After he was greeted by his sister, reminding him that if he does not hurry up, they would be late for their job. Soon after, they are walking down the streets, looking at the scenery. He is now more than sure that he is inside the world of Fantasy Frontier and, according to the memories of his current body, he is living with his little sister, Lily. After their parents died, and right now, he is heading to the mansion of their evil employer, who treat them like slaves. As they were walking, her sister tripped on something. Fortunately, he was fast enough to prevent her from falling. She then thanked her brother, to which he assured her that he would protect her. Hearing his comforting words, she was grateful that he was helping her since she was blind after all. While the main character is troubled because even though he said he would protect her, he reincarnated as the weakest demon race. He wants to live well in this world, but he doesn't know where to start with his circumstances right now. A few moments later, he and Lily arrive at the evil merchant's mansion, so he drops her off, since he has other things to do because his sister is blind. He works as a laborer, and he is in charge of cleaning up the mansion. However, today the employer decided to have him move to the darker mine, which the main character knows he has no power to argue, so he just accepts it. Now that he is at the ore mine, he decides to work hard and mind his own business. However, the douchebag seems to have other plans for today, so they intentionally trip the main character, while making fun of him for not having any dark element aptitude and being a useless little goblin. But their provocations did not faze him at all, as he showed them who was the better man in this scenario. In contrast, the yes men continue to shower the blonde hair with praise for passing the magician's school entrance exam, which is impressive to them, since only the elite talent could enter there. After they were done sucking up to the blonde kid, they left, while mocking Goblin for one last time. However, this interaction wasn't for nothing because now he gained dark magic. After a while, he is having a break, while he is thinking to himself. According to the map inside the mansion, it is currently the year 125 of the Demon Continent calendar. It is the same time as the intro to the game, so he concludes that his knowledge will be helpful, and as he was wondering what could a weak goblin like him do, a teleportation magic circle suddenly materialized on top of him. Soon after, knights started coming down from it, seeing there are more. He recognizes that it is a piece of special equipment from the game, the Holy Knights Armor. With them appearing, the demons notifies the others that the hero's army is attacking the village. Therefore, panic follows soon after, while Goblin is in deep thought because this is the far section of the Demon Continent, and the humans have already reached here, so he noticed that they are much earlier than in the game. Now that the human forces are in a frenzy, and was enjoying slaughtering the demon race more than they should, so Goblin has the opportunity to go look for his sister. However, as soon as he picks her up, he was pushed by the blonde-haired kid running to get away through a hidden door. With this they became bait for the blonde kid and his goons to get away. Now they are in front of the leader of the hero's army. He noticed that he was smiling like a psycho and was excited to deal with them, while Goblin knows he can't fight with his current state, but he still has someone to protect. Therefore, he charges at him in order to buy time for his sister to get away. However, his efforts were futile because he was easily dealt with by the human, with his consciousness fading away. He wonders if he is really going to die like this, and soon after, he could only see darkness around him. So now he asks if he is dead, but to his surprise, a bright figure appeared in front of him. Now troubled because, even though she reincarnated him, it turned out this way. But she can't just overlook this, since it will be troublesome if a race goes extinct. Therefore, she decided to give him her power, boosting his dark magic, evolving it to all form of dark magic. With this, his good-for-nothing status is raised to the max, but the bright figure reminds him that he will not be able to use all of this power for now. He will grasp how to use it gradually over time, and all this happened because he easily died right away. After receiving his gift, he wakes up, seeing that the human is about to deal with his sister. Next, he stands up and tells them to wait, now that the knights realize the goblin is still alive. They didn't hesitate to strike him again, but before their sword could land on him, Goblin manages to use a level 32 skill called Dark Boost, instantly clapping all of them, leaving the leader behind. And before he could even register what happened, Goblin was behind him, and because the leader was planning to do something to his sister, he knows not to spare him, killing him before he could even finish his sentences. A few moments later, the head of the village informed everyone that according to the town's report, the hero's army was defeated. Hearing this, they were thankful. At the same time, wondering who did it, while the system informed Goblin that he completed the quest, Level 1 Awakening. With this, his range for acquired magic has been extended, instantly giving him a hefty amount of magic. Noticing that his brother is in pain, Lily asks if he is okay, to which he tells her that he is fine, and now he is ecstatic to realize that he can unlock more power. Meanwhile, the blonde-haired kid appeared last, and still had the audacity to claim all the credit for himself, telling everyone that he was the one who defeated the heroes army, using the dark magic he always trained with, being the mindless citizen the demon village has. They believed every word he said, without a sign of doubt. Seeing that the blonde kid is bullshitting his way to fame and money, Goblin decides to teach this bitch a lesson he won't forget. Therefore, he calls out for his attention and asks him a question, to which the blonde kid still tries to lie. Hence, he then challenges him, which the blonde kid gladly accepts, because he believes he can deal with Goblin in one strike. Now that he manages to hit Goblin with his dark magic, he starts to act up, telling everyone that this is the power that defeated the hero's army. At the same time, he was oblivious to what is he didn't notice the dark magic that was cast towards him, quickly devouring him inside a domain. Now dark flames surrounded him, and a powerful creature was in front of him, asking him to speak the truth, but he still tried to lie. Therefore, the dark flames started to cover him. With this, he knows that he fucked up, so he admits that he lied, and tells the truth that he actually hid in a warehouse. Now that he confessed, Goblin cancels his genjutsu, so the blonde kid realizes what he just did. At the same time, Goblin was amazed by the power he just used, since it was only a level 32 evil eye. But its power is not to be taken lightly, because whoever meets eyes with the Chandra will fall into a hallucination. Now that he was finished humiliating the blonde kid, he decides to leave the place, while the others ask if it was him that defeated the heroes army, to which he quickly denies it, to avoid dealing with useless people. And now that he gained the greatest power, he will become the savior of this world. The next day, Goblin and Lily are now resting. Goblin then decides to try and use his dark cure ability on her. Since Lily was blind from birth, he wasn't sure if it would work. But to their surprise, Lily gained her vision, so she finally sees what her brother looks Like. With this, she wasn't able to control her emotions and started crying with joy, knowing that her brother is always there for her. Using his abilities frequently, he levels up. Therefore, his range of acquired dark magic skills has been extended for the second time, and now he receives a speed package. With this, a goblin fairy emerges from the system, shocking the siblings with her sudden appearance. While she explains that she has been tasked to escort him to the hidden village of the goblins and call him as their strongest unparalleled mutation. A few moments later, they are now inside the backwoods of the demon's continent while Goblin is busy looking closely at the goblin fairy in front of him. Since he is still processing the goblin fairy's existence, soon after, they arrive at the hidden village of goblins. This amazes Goblin because he has no idea there was a settlement here. Even with all his knowledge with the game, he didn't have a clue to which the goblin fairy tells him that it is because it was always covered by concealment magic. The fairy then decides for them to meet the village chief. As they walk, he notices that their presence is making a commotion, and because of the children's curiosity, they ask Lily if they could play together. Goblin notices that this was an opportunity for her to relax, so she lets her play with them for a bit, to which he was happy to see her having fun after gaining her sights. In a change of scene, Goblin is now in front of the village chief, seeing that there is another descendant who survives beside them. He is relieved, and just as the goddess's prophecy foretold, led by a fairy, a young goblin boy would one day come to this village, and they would entrust their hidden treasure to him. Hearing all this prophecy, he assumes it has to do with the bright figure he saw when he died. The village chief then asks for him to wait, for he will just get something. Now that he was left alone, the goblin fairy informs the main character of the goblin tribe's circumstances. She explains that the other tribes shun and ostracize them, and the hero's forces think of them goblins as nothing more than a stain in their sword. This isn't just natural selection, they are deliberately oppressing them, and this village's demise is just around the corner. Hearing all this, he remembers the days he was in the game world, and to him, goblins are just some small fry monsters he kills every day. But now that he has become a goblin himself, he can't believe things have led to this. The village chief then returns and gives him a scroll. Opening it, he is shocked to see what contains it. The village then explains that he gave this because he entrusted their fates to him as the chosen one of their prophecy. Soon after, everyone from the village gathered before him and is now begging him to save their people. A few moments later, Goblin is now inside a forest, away from the village, as he is in deep thought, thinking about the circumstance that he is in, as he wonders how it even led to this. Because even if the goblins are the weakest creatures on their own, they are troublesome once they group together, and goblins can even mutate to a high-ranking species, as well. With all these advantages, the goblins should not be facing imminent extinction. Coupled with the unusually fast progression of the hero's forces, he concludes that it seems like something is happening that he is not aware of. The goblin fairy soon disturbed his concentration, asking him why he decided to come out here. He explains that there is something that he wants to confirm first, and that is he wants to see how well he is able to make use of the abilities available to him right now. Opening his skill panel, he saw all the skills he could use, and it looked like the skills that he couldn't use yet were all grayed out, and it didn't seem to be displayed in any particular order, and there is most likely a skill tree programmed into the back end of things. Aside from magic, his stats are also quite overwhelming. Now that he was done looking at his stats, he first decided to measure his physical strength, and that is by punching the unsuspecting mountain that was just minding its own business. Not realizing he was soon to be dust, the main character follows up with his level 10 flare bomb. A few moments later, Goblin finished organizing his skills in their respective category. Now that he is getting the hang of things, he realizes that the variety of magic he can use is somewhat wide. After that, it was time for him to make some final touches, so he decided to go to the location marked on the scroll that the elder gave him. Now he is in front of the secret cemetery, where the ancestral heroes of the goblin tribe are laid to rest. So, without further delay, he invokes the most essential dark magic spell of the ones he has learned so far, and that is his level 99 skill, called Summon Goblins. Arise. With this, all the fallen heroes emerged from their graves, and the strongest figures from the past were now standing before Goblin, while the Goblin Fairy was astonished to see something remarkable, because throughout the thousands of years of history, even the weakest and lowest goblins have given birth to a goblin with a mutation that has powers and special abilities of the strongest class. These heroic spirits, who only exist in the past, he is able to summon all of their memories here. With this power, he is going to end the war between the hero's forces and the demon lord's army, so he is set to make both the hero and the demon lord